Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and hope all is well with everybody today. Let me set this up. How's everybody doing tonight? I have a long list of things we are going to talk about today. I know there's a lot of controversy in the knife world right now. We will talk about that later on. And I'll give you guys my 2 cents. But before that, what's everybody carrying today? Hopefully, everybody's got something awesome in their pockets. I got something new. Finally came in a day late, but I still got it very fast because it's a Tucson. You guys will see the unboxing tomorrow, but I got it within a week because I ordered it from somebody selling in the USA. Now, sometimes you can get lucky on eBay and find a USA seller. There's actually a guy, I forget what state he's in, but he does sell Tucsons, brand new ones, brand new Tucsons from the US, and you can get them within 7 days. And I wasn't sure if this one was going to be a brand new one, but it looked like it, and it did come brand new. There was a writing on the box. I didn't care about that, just the number. But yeah, I got it within a week, a day late, but still within a week. So I was definitely happy about that. You China knife pusher. I wish they would get somebody in the US that would take on more of their knives and sell them so that people didn't have to wait, 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes even longer, to get their models. Yes, you do get a hell of a bang for a buck, and people get mad at me for saying that you're underpaying for them, because the more I say that, the more the prices go up. But we do make the market for those, so it's not like other knife companies where they just come out with a base price and that's what it is. You have the opportunity to pay a lot less for them. When they're brand new, of course, they're going to be more money because they're the brand new one. But if you wait a couple months, like the second or third run of them, you can get them really cheap. What's up? Daniel was used. Fiend, Monster, Me with Knives, Todd, Lacey, everybody else, Eric, Metallica, Ed. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Hello to you too. So, everyone coming in, please hit that like button. Yes, I'd really appreciate it. I meant to get another tab started. Maybe I'll just talk about some of the subjects we're going to talk about. Steve's in the house. What's up, Steve? All right, so first we are going to start off with some hard use stuff. Because I talk a lot about slicing and geometry, and I see Steve in the comment section. But I talk about slicing a lot and good geometry and things like that. And I tend to talk about hard use too. Because when I was doing construction, there were a lot of times where I wanted a real good slicer, but a lot of the times I use more of a harder use knife, just because of the knives. The knives were used as a multi-tool, right? It wasn't like a knife was just a cutter. Yeah, it cut stuff, but also did fucking everything else too. Sometimes you'd use it as a screwdriver. Sometimes you'd use it as a pry bar. Sometimes it was a scraper. Sometimes it was a wedge, and it's just the way it was. But the convenience of having a knife like that, a knife that you can trust, or a knife that, it's kind of like, we have a lot of knives in the community and we collect a lot of knives. But the knives that you use the most are always the ones you appreciate the most, the ones that you actually don't care about beating on, the ones you will abuse. Yeah, of course, you're going to have your really nice knife that you don't want to scratch. But the one that you will carry in your pocket and just use all day, that just seems to be the one you appreciate more, right? And so it made me think about, what are the 3 things, that I personally would want in a hard use knife, like when ordering one, or when looking for one, or for recommending one. And I think obviously heat treat, I think, is going to be extremely important. And a lot of beater knives, people don't really care about that as much. However, having a knife that's maybe a little bit more expensive that you are going to carry and hard use. I mean, we've watched Steve and a lot of his testings, have proved, poor heat treats to better heat treats. But then geometry is going to be extremely important because you can't expect a knife to do that type of work with, extremely good geometry for cutting. Not saying, and I don't want nobody to get me wrong, like I'm not saying that, you don't want still good geometry. I'm saying good geometry for the job, for what you're doing. Because if you're going to be prying, right? Prying, wedging, things like that with your knife, then you might want a little bit thicker of geometry, at least in the tip. I think having a thicker tip might be more important, more so than the whole blade, because like think about a spider co and how many tips break on and I'm specifically talking about PM2s. How many PM2s tips break? They break all the time. I fixed many of them. Sharpening. I get them in, and you got to fix them. I fixed a bunch of Jimbos because they chip, they break off, and it doesn't take much to do it. Let alone if you're literally hard using your knives. Seems logical. Says 5160 spring steel is a great steel choice for hard use. It's very durable steel without compromising edge retention. Excuse me. So having a thicker tip, I think, is really important. Mike Emler, he's naked as usual. Nothing new there. But yeah, I think having a nice, strong, durable tip is going to be vital to having, say, that type of knife. Now, I think where the tip lies is also important. I think, me personally, I like a tip to line perfectly with my pivot or under. So what I mean is, like, if I pull up any fucking knife, whatever, pull up this one. See how this one actually lines up almost perfect with the center of the pivot, but either center or a little bit lower, me personally. I like it, but I like that front tip, for like drilling holes. If I do need to wedge something, I usually try to keep, when I'm prying, more towards the spine. But if it's all belly right there, or if the tip goes up high, I have more likely of a chance of breaking that tip. Definitely check out Mike Emler's channel, and no, please send all dick pics to Super Still Steve, please. For me. Stasa 23's in the house. Stasa made it early. Holy cow, man. It's our lucky day. I'll text you a shower pic if you don't send me some monies. Yes, you can find Super Still Steve right there. Now, another thing I think is extremely important with a hard use knife is ergos. Ergos, I think, is one of the most, like I said, the top three things. I think ergos is going to fall into one of the top three things because, so I've had lots of knives that were shitty, right, in ergos, and they still worked great as a work knife. However, using a knife with good ergos, something I could actually get a grip on, right, and actually put muscle behind in the grip, was hands down better every time. It always felt more comfortable in the hand. I felt more secure. It's kind of like, think about, like, I used a Kershaw leak for a while doing drywall, and I was cutting drywall with it. It worked great for cutting drywall. However, for like, if I needed to, say, pry a 2x4 upward just a little bit, it's not like it takes that much weight, but just a little bit, just to raise it up or something so I can nail it in, like a stud or something like that. You don't want to do that with a leak, and the handle, you don't want to squeeze that fucking thing and wedge it between nothing or have to put any pressure into it because it's so thin, it's going to hurt, right? But if you grab something, that's more substantial, you feel a lot more secure with it, and it seems to work better, especially in cutting and things like that. Now, it seems like when you do hard use, most of your cutting is cutting open bags of concrete, rocks, whatever, right? Now other cutting you might do is like cutting caulk and things like that, um, which it's nice to have a thinner blade then if it's like caulk or something like that. But a lot of your uses are just random crazy things. Like sometimes you might lift up shingles or pull off siding or even cut a little tab off a siding, um just whatever, things like that. It's just always so weird and just like out of the normal that you never know which one you're going to use, but you always have a utility blade on you already. You always have a utility blade on you. That's one thing you always have in your pouch is a utility blade. So since you already have the utility blade, you already have like that level of geometry and thinness already on you. So having like basically a knife that you can use as a multi-tool is a little bit more valuable than sometimes blazing geometry. Now I'm not saying that, because it depends on what we're talking about, right? Like I said, when I was doing drywall, geometry did matter to me. Um, and depending on what you're doing, like right now, the place I'm working at now, geometry is far more important than harder use, far more, hands down, because I'm cutting a lot of straps, cardboard, things like that. Like the other day, I had to build a bunch of these racks, these metal racks. And actually cutting into one of the boxes, they were probably like, I don't know, 7 foot long or something. Cutting into one of the boxes, I wasn't even thinking about it. And I cut into the box, and the rack is a metal rack with a bunch of like bars in it. My edge goes right down the fucking bars. And I was thinking, oh man, my edge is wrecked. It wasn't though. It actually held up pretty good, luckily. I wasn't kidding. I am in the shower. You better start making with the dough. Where am I at? Oh, let me move this before it keeps going off in the microphone. My phone likes to go off a lot. Okay, so I'm I got a lot of these, I guess not got the topics from, but I've been watching this other channel. You guys probably know who she is, maybe not. Not Your Average EDC. I contacted her, and she's doing, I think she does painting. That's what she does, but she does a lot of hard use with her knives. Geometry is like the last thing she worries about. She loves hard use knives. That's what she uses her knives for. And I asked her if she would come on the channel. Me and her could talk some fucking knives. And she said yes. So hopefully within the next couple weeks, I can get her on the channel. Talika says he watches her. She seems really cool. And yeah, she's definitely a working girl. And I think it'd be awesome to have her on the channel. So that should be an interesting conversation. Yes, use your shit. Yes, that's her. Yes, use your shit. The last video I was watching, she was talking about how she had her I think it was her 9. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't her 940. It was damn it, I can't. It was a fixed blade. I can't think of the name of the company, but she said she cut up a squirrel. She dressed a squirrel, and the bones in the squirrel, I guess, chipped up the edge really bad. But then she was talking about how she used BGM knives far harder, and she's got a whole bunch of BGM knives, and she was talking about their heat treat and everything else. And like I told you guys, like when I first tested BGM knives, I hadn't seen any videos on him or anything like that. But when I tested his steel, I knew right away. And I hadn't seen a video one about BGM. And I tested the steel, and I knew right away that had a very good heat treat. And she speaks about it too. That like she was like hard using her BGM knives and saying how they're all just holding up so good. And she was comparing it to, I can't think of what knife that was. One knife that got all chipped up on the edge, and then another knife, which was her 940, which the tip broke on. Excuse me. I thought we were doing thumbs downs. I'll take those. I'll take some thumbs downs. Who is she? She is not your average EDC. She's on Instagram and on YouTube. She doesn't answer questions or anything on YouTube. She, so you got to DM her or talk to her on Instagram, but she does have a YouTube channel. If, like I said, she'll be on here in a couple weeks, within a week or two, hopefully. We talked and she said she's gonna, so that'll be awesome. So what kind of prying is acceptable? Because a lot of people would say, don't pry with your knives, use a pry bar, use the right tool, right? And I agree. I do agree you should use the right tool. However, I know better than anybody. I've pried with my knives thousands of times. For fuck, I've broken so many damn knives from prying. And let me just be clear, it didn't break because I was prying. They broke because they were shit knives with a shit heat treat. So it has nothing to do with me prying why it broke, because if it was a better heat treat, the knives wouldn't have broke. They were just like cheap Gerbers and stuff like that. When you're on the job site, you just buy whatever. Now, once I would use like a quality knife with a quality heat treat, that shit didn't happen. But prying, excuse me, paint cans. She was talking about that's what she was doing with her 940 when she was testing it on. All prying break that tip. Yeah, I think that with the right knife, prying is perfectly acceptable. Like I've talked about this many times. Like I have knives that are thicker than any pry bar I have. And you wouldn't believe the shit I'd do with a pry bar. And I know the heat treat's different. I understand that. But when you have steel that is twice as thick as a pry bar, it'll be just fine prying light duty stuff, right? And in some cases, maybe even a little bit heavier duty stuff. But sometimes separating things, like trim around a window, base, maybe quarter round. Quarter round is you guys know what quarter round is. It's the stuff that goes around the floorboard or sometimes on the ceiling, around the trim, that separates the trim from the floor. And it's, a quarter section of a round circle, and it goes in a corner. Anyways, that stuff's really light duty to pry off of things. It's very easy. The nails are really thin, so it doesn't take much to pry those off. But a lot of people say, well, why not just use your damn pry bar? And like I said in the last video I posted, when you're on a job site, sometimes, like it's so hot or cold, you're so exhausted, you left your pry bar over there, or maybe you left it in the truck, or maybe you dropped it off of a scaffold and now it's on the ground and you're not climbing down that ladder just to pry this little piece of siding, right? That you could literally just take your knife out and pry with it. So it's just the situations you get into. You're going to get into shit. So, and since you're always getting into shit, you're always dropping tools. Somebody made a comment, said, well, I hope you're not dropping stuff from 30 feet up in the air. Oh, you can bet your ass we're dropping shit. Like, we're only human. If you can walk, think about it. When you walk around, right? You drop things sometimes. Now imagine being 30 feet up in the air and you have to balance on a 1 foot scaffold walking back and forth with a 30-pound tool belt on your fucking waist, and you're dripping sweat's in your eyes. You got flies and shit messing with you, and the sun is beating down on your back. Yeah, sometimes you drop stuff. Sometimes you drop things. Oh, yes, it was a Bark River. Yes, Talik's got a good memory. Yes, it was a Bark River she was testing, breaking down the squirrel. I think it was a squirrel. But yeah, it was 3V too, so you wouldn't expect that to chip up. But I would say, to be honest, I would recommend her to sharpen it. That maybe, and she can sharpen, so I'm not saying she can't sharpen. I'm saying she can sharpen, but I would say remove some steel from that edge, then test it. Being 3V, it might be okay. It might just be a little burnt on the edge, but I don't know. Maybe she did try that and it still was chipping. But the difference was the difference between BGM's heat treat and Bark River's 3V, which I'm not saying Bark River's 3V shit or anything. I'm just saying what she said. Being a welder's helper, what's a knife steel that won't chip as much when scraping against metal or doing utility cuts near metal? Well, when you hit metal, you can bet no matter what, if you're hitting metal, you can bet you're going to get some chipping. And like I was saying before, the heat treat is going to be probably the most important, but 3V, things like that, tougher steels, that is going to be more, probably better. But like I said, it's going to boil down to the heat treat. There's a bunch of other steels, like, if you don't have the money like for some of those super steels, I always recommend 14C 28N. That's a very tough steel and very, very affordable. That holds a good edge. Now it's not 3V, but 3V would probably be what you want to go toward. Now also there's a lot of other steels like seems logical was talking about the 5160, things like that. I guess it just depends on what kind of knife you're talking about. A fixed blade, because you don't see that steel usually in folders. If you're talking about a folder, I would say 3V. Stasa says there are so many different factors that can chip an edge or break a tip, like temperature, edge angle, sharpness, etc. Absolutely. And that is another thing. I'm glad Stas said that, because if you're going to be using your edge like that, then your edge angle is going to be a big deal. You might even want a micro bevel on your edge, maybe to make it just a little bit more tougher. And then, the geometry of the blade, just so many different things. But if you got a good quality steel, good quality heat treat, then yeah, make sure your edge is good quality. But if you smack steel, you're gonna have a chance of chipping and things like that. It's just how hard you smack it, and there's always a lot of factors, right? There's never just one easy answer. For strength, I think 12C27 is a little tougher than 14C. Yeah, I mean, I think 14C is more available though. 12C20, I like 12C27. We don't see it too much though, right? I wish we did. Because I like it, just like I like 14C. I like 14C a little bit better, but yeah, we just don't see it too much. I wish we did see it a little bit more. The Presido Elite Carbon Fiber is the only Benchmade I ever purchased. I got a couple. I got the Bug Out, the Griptilian, 3 Griptilians, and the 940. I like the Griptilian though. I think that's a solid hard use knife. It's a tough knife, tough tip. I showed it in my work knife video. I just did 20 work knives. I think it was called 20 great work knives. Stasa smacking the metal bar always makes me cringe. I know what you mean. Just like, what made me cringe the worst, I think, out of anything was, was when Pete from Cedric and Ada took one of those pull through sharpeners and fucking dragged the edge through that. I was like, oh my God. I can't stand that. I remember being a kid using those, for like fishing knives and stuff, skinning knives, and even pocket knives. But man, like thinking about it now, especially when I think about like a good quality knife, it's like, oh fuck, you just wrecked your edge. Will it make it sharp? Yeah, for about 3 minutes. Oh, please like or dislike, thumbs up or thumbs down. Atta boy. You suck anyways, you want to but do something. Should you not, the stupid quotes shall continue. Thank you, Breeze. Yes, he will harass you until we get them likes up. How many likes do we have? Let's check it out. Only 3 dislikes. You guys are slacking on me. We got 48 altogether, though. Digging the Oz Roosevelt. Z Finna, aka LC200M. Yeah, I like LC200M. Definitely good at corrosion resistance. Mike says, Ed, I want you on my podcast. When Triple B was stabbing his K390 into a cinder block, but you got to remember though, Triple B is heat treating beyond what you're gonna find unless you buy from him. I maybe BGM Knives is hitting it close, I don't think he's doing K390 though, but like he does crew wear and he, you know what? Actually, I think he does do K390. I'm not positive, but my point is though is that with a production knife, you're not going to get heat treats like that. So you're going to want a tougher steel because K390 is not a tough steel, but it just depends on what you're wanting, you know. Like he did one the other day. I forget what steel it was. I'm sorry, but he took it and he was cutting glass with it, and it was 67 HRC, and he said around 66 or 67 HRC. I think it was 67.6 HRC. And he said right around 67 is when your edge is going to be able to cut glass, meaning the hardness of that steel is going to be capable of cutting glass. Because, like, under that, it's just going to skate the glass because the glass is so much harder than the steel. So, there's going to be different heat treats for different things, just like different geometries for different things. Come on, Mike. You ain't got to do all that. Don't do that. Piece of cake, white cake. Why not pie? Easy as pie. When are you inviting Super Steel Steve to join you again, Jared? That guy's hilarious. He's always welcome on here. He knows that. I'll have him on anytime. Yeah, I love Steve. I'll have him on anytime. There's a bunch of people I want to get on here because I planned on getting people. Steve's been on here, but I planned on getting people every week or every 2 weeks, another person. So I do plan on getting more and more people. Like I said, I talked to Not Your Average EDC. And Mike, he's got a bunch of people going on his. He just had Russell on his, and he's got a bunch of people going on his too. So definitely keep an eye out on Mike's channel because he's got a lot of great people coming on. I think he's even got soon Nick Shabazz coming on and a bunch of people. So Stasa, he'll do it whenever. I'm always down. We can always set something up. Any live, because otherwise I'm fucking sitting here talking to myself or talking to you fucks. So I might as well be talking to somebody, and I enjoy sitting there having a conversation, about knives and everything. So, so I was going to talk about action with hard use knives. I think this is my opinion. Not everybody really cares about it, but I personally, like, never doing construction or anything like that, did I ever carry a two-hand knife aside from being like a kid. A knife where I have to take two hands, pry it open, because most situation I was in, I and at the time I liked assisted knives because they were easy to deploy, and they were reliable. But having a knife that you can pull out one-handed, because a lot of times your hands are busy. Sometimes, hell, you got both hands busy, and you're literally pulling it out of your pocket like this, to make the cut, because it's something, crazy. So I personally like having a knife that I can open and close one-handed. Now, today, that's not that tough. Most knives do that. Like, I'd say 98% of knives open and close one-handed. So I don't think that's really a big deal to talk about, but definitely lock strength is going to be important. So I want to talk about stropping compounds because I've had a bunch of people, nobody in particular, just him. Over the past 2 weeks, I've had probably 8 people contact me talking about compounds, right? And there are so many compounds for stropping and leathers, right? And leathers. And I've had so many different kinds, from the cheap stuff to the good stuff, cheap leather, expensive leather, just everything. I usually recommend sharpeningsupplies.com for because they're right here in the US. It's a family-owned business, and they have really good quality leather that you can get for a great price. They do have a lot of stuff on Amazon that you can get. But if you're wanting to get more exotic, I guess I could say exotic, They do have a sample pack. I put them in a lot of my videos, sample packs of Neeve diamond paste. But that's not going to be as easy to use as your normal the block of stropping compound that you just rub on a strop. It's not going to be easy like that. So you have to literally, rub it into the leather, let it dry. It's a little bit messier, but it is diamond, so it tends to work a little bit longer. The aluminum oxide stuff works just as good, well, for the same micron rating, but it doesn't last as long. So, and with the diamonds, you could get some really aggressive compounds. Like I got some that's so aggressive, you can feel the diamonds. Like when you strop, it feels like you're stropping on sand. It's extremely aggressive. So, but that's going to be for people that really want an aggressive stropping compound, somebody who wants it to almost sharpen their knife. They basically want to be able to strop and it removes steel, because it does. Like, I mean, like you strop, and if you don't hold your angle right, it's going to show, because it's going to scratch your knife to shit. But if you know how to hold an angle, you can actually put a new finish right on your edge just by stropping it a couple passes. That's how aggressive the stuff is. But they sell a sample pack, and it's got like 8 different compounds, and from a very aggressive all the way down to super fine. And it's only $22, $25 or something like that. And that stuff goes a long way. It spreads pretty good. And they're just like little sample, like a little coin thing full of paste. Now the DMT diamond spray. That stuff is good. I like the DMT diamond spray. I think it comes in 0.5 micron and 1 micron. I have 0.5 micron, I think. I think it's 0.5 micron. Anyways, my problem with it, though, is my bottle is messy as shit. Like, it's always leaking. I go to spray it, the diamonds get clogged in it, and like it'll start squirting sideways, and it's messy as all hell. You get it all every time. If I take off the cap is full of it. It's like I feel like I've used like it's probably half gone, and I've probably used 1/8 of it, but it's half gone. So that's my problem with it. The fucking, maybe I got a shitty bottle. I don't know. It is made in the USA. It is pretty good. It does last a while, and you just spray it on the leather. It's a beautiful thing. All right, Mike, take it easy, bud. But I don't know. It can clog the tube when spraying, but it does last pretty good. It does work. Now you got to remember though, with stropping compounds, and this is like the biggest thing, because everybody wants stropping compounds, but I think people get confused on what stropping compound. Well, you got to remember, like if you have a 600 grit edge, right? A 600 grit edge, a 0.5 micron diamond spray is not going to do that much without over stropping, because it's so fine. It's so fine. That's basically for like a polished edge. Now I'm not saying it's not going to work at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the difference between that and a 6 micron paste, or 6 micron that stuff you rub on the compound, that's going to work a lot better for you. It really is, because it's more aggressive. And if you want a compound that's going to give you results, right? Because you, like, say you come home from work, your edge is a little dull feeling, it's not chipped or nothing, but it's not that sharp anymore. And you want to be able to take a few passes and make it sharp again. You want something that's going to be more aggressive than a 0.5 micron or 1 micron. Now, a 0.5 micron or 1 micron is going to be good for, like, say you just come off of the sharpening stone and you got a polished edge, and you start at 3 micron, you go to 2 micron, 1 micron, a 0.5 micron diamond spray, or, stropping compounds. But in that case, now you need 4 strops, right? So it's a progression, just like your sharpening stones. It's the same thing. So that's why I always recommend, for just an all-around good stropping compound, this is going to be good for just about everything. It's going to be good for fresh off the stone, and it's going to be good for when you get done using your knife, and it's going to be good for after you hone it, is 3 or 6 micron. The 6 micron white, it's a white brick, and you just rub it on your strop. That is one of my favorites. Now the green stuff is 3 micron, so the white is 6. That's what it's supposed to be. If you get it from a reputable place like sharpeningsupplies.com, I got some in my links. Then it's just there are going to be some off-brand stuff that is white or is green, but you don't know the micron rating. So, but the green stuff is supposed to be 3 micron. Whether it is or not depends on where you get it from. Like the stuff from sharpeningsupplies.com, that's some good shit. It's some really good compound. It rubs on really nice, and it works really good. But now, if you want something that's going to be very aggressive, then yeah, now you're going to need something like I was talking about before, like some more aggressive compounds, like some of the Neeves stuff. Possibly you can find some other pastes from other companies, but just pay attention to the micron rating. Remember, because if you have a 600 grit sharpened edge, then you're not really worried about scratching the edge. You're more worried about it being able to bite and remove steel. Because with sharpening, like when you think about sharpening, a good way to think about how to sharpen, right? If you're going to think about using a system, freehand, anything like that, think about taking a stick and cutting it into a spear. How would you do that? Right? You're going to take the, I don't have a stick. Oh, I do got a strap right here. This is my sharpeningsupplies.com strap. Really good. But you're going to take the stick, right? You're going to take the stick and you're going to shave it, right? You're going to cut it this way. Then you're going to flip it over and you're going to cut it the other way, right? Kind of the same thing. But when you're on a stone, all those little layers, when you cut off of a stick, that's the same thing with a stone. You're just shaving off layers until you get to the apex. The difference is that steel is tougher. So it winds up folding over. Like as you're sharpening, it winds up folding over, and that's where you get the burr. Then you go to the other side and you shave down that side, and that's where that creates a burr. And you want to knock that burr off and reveal the apex. Think about when you're sharpening the stick. Sometimes you sharpen a little too much, and the very tip of the stick is kind of just hanging like this because you sharpen the spear, and you got the very tip of it. It's too fine, it's too pointy, and what do? You cut that bitch off, right? Same thing with a burr. You basically remove the burr, and you reveal a very nice pointy tip. So think about the same thing when you're thinking about sharpening. Now with stropping, you're just refining it, So kind of like if you took your spear and you rubbed it on a rock or something and refined it a little bit. But if your compound is too fine, it's not going to do anything really. It will, but it'll take a long time. You'll have to do 100 passes rather than do 5 passes per side. Unless if you do a progression, like I was saying before, starting with a coarser compound and stopping on a finer compound. That's why I always say 6 micron is a good, mid 6 or 3 micron is a good ratio for stropping compounds. How many people in here? 82 people in here. You guys are amazing. All right. Okay. Now I was going to wait for a little bit to talk about this, but this KPL beef with KPL and Gunny Glide, right? So I'm not going to pretend like I know more than I do about it. I heard KPL sent a letter to Gunny Glide, like a cease and desist letter or some shit, for them to stop making their stuff in their bottle. Now, I just want to say, I like KPL stuff. I like their nice pivot lube. I think that was a little sleazy. I think they could have just contacted them and tried to talk to them straight up. That's what I personally would have done. But I don't know. It's hard for me to say. Now, does that mean I'm just going to stop using KPL? Well, no, not yet. Now, if they maybe continued with it, because I think they stopped. I think they supposedly, what I heard, and maybe I'm hearing wrong information, but I heard that they're possibly going to just start making a new bottle and I don't know, somehow get some type of patent on their bottle or something, whatever they call that, for their bottle. I don't know how true that is. Now, Gunny Glide, was Gunny Glide in the wrong? I don't think so, because there is a lot of those bottles. Now, if they felt, slighted or whatever you want to call it, if KPL felt like Gunny Glide was stepping on their toes, right? I think the best thing they could have did was just contact them and say, hey, man, we worked really hard on these bottles. It's a big deal for us. You think you could possibly do something to make your bottle look different than ours, which it already did. I think the Gunny Glides was thinner, possibly a little taller. It was a different color, but basically the same type of bottle. But there are a lot of other things that use those types of bottles. But I don't know what Gunny Glide would have done. They supposedly said that they would have figured something out if that's how they would have approached it. But since they approached it the way they did, with a letter from a lawyer or whatever, now they took offense to it and basically are like, go fuck yourself. I'm not doing anything, and take me to court. Right. And I don't think KPL will. And that is kind. Now, let me say that's where it's kind of weird too, because it's kind of all bark no bite, right? You threaten to do this, and now I say do it, and now you're like, no, I'm not gonna. That's kind of weird. But I'm not saying that I want them to do that to Gunny Glide, sue them or anything like that. But yeah, the vape juice uses it. A lot of companies use that bottle. Is a bottle proprietary? No, but okay, so excuse me and Mike were talking about it, and like Coke, right? No company can use the exact same bottle as Coke. Yes, they're similar, but they're not exactly the same. You're going to look at a Coke bottle. It's going to be different than, say, a fucking Mountain Dew or whatever bottle, something else, right? Water bottles, they all look similar, but none of them are identical, right? So their bottle is like their trademark. Now, I don't think Gunny Glides was identical to KPL's. I think it was thinner and taller, if I can remember. I haven't had a bottle, so I might be wrong. But looking at it through a screen, it looked thinner and taller, while KPL's looked shorter and round, fatter. Maybe not. I don't know. I didn't try it. Like I said, I got KPL, but I don't got Gunny Glide, so I can't match them up next to each other to really tell you the truth. But with colors, Gunny Glide is way different. Yeah, and Gunny Glide was white. That was another thing. White. And it looked a little cloudy. The color of the stuff looked different, and the sticker looked different from the stuff I seen. Is there other bottles that they have that look similar to KPL? I don't know, but the stuff I seen was white. So, and KPL is good shit. I love KPL. I don't want to stop using KPL because I love it. And as of right now, I don't plan on stopping using KPL because I don't think anything's happened yet. I mean, they got into a fucking argument basically about bottles, right? I don't think there's been a lawsuit yet, maybe a letter threatening, but which I do think is a bitch move. I do. I really do. But from their perspective, I don't know. I haven't talked to them. Maybe they're looking at it like we put a lot of work into this. We spent a lot of money on this, and we want to be known as the oil of the knife community, and we worked hard to do it. And if you're gonna have a bottle, then at least I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. I just think it's a bunch of bullshit right now. We'll see what happens. If the one company, he's not going to stop. So KPL is either going to sue him, or he's going to deal with it and make a different bottle, or stick with the same bottle. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think there's always room for everybody to make money, in my opinion. And that's what does, kind of like Red Wolf said, that's what makes people or companies make a better product, is the competition. So, let the competition fight it out, right? I'll test whatever product is the best, and that's the one I will use, because whoever has the best product is the one I want. I do care though about, integrity too. So don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that like, oh, if their integrity isn't good, but their product's good, I'll use it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying as if right now nothing's happened to the point to where I'm going to stop using KPL because of a couple nasty letters back and forth. Now, if KPL drags it out to the point to where I think it's unethical in the knife community, and I think they are not being, I don't know, fucking gentlemen of the knife community, then yeah, of course, right? I don't want to support that, but I don't know if they're going to take it there. So I think they just had their butt hurt because they seen another bottle, right? And whatever. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Metallica. It's not 9 o'clock yet. What? Oh, thought you were talking to me. Well, quiet the fuck down then. You're loud as shit. All right. I think I already talked about that one. See? Listen to you. You're loud. I'm going to get you a soundproof room. You should get one. I'm going to skip that one. So we were actually kind of talking about this earlier. My battery will be dead by then. I'm at 15%. You can always rewatch it, Metallica. I'm sorry your battery's about to die. I mean, we can talk about it if you guys want to talk about it. It's a little early though. I was gonna wait till 9. If their butt hurt, maybe they should use their lube on it. There you go. I have both KPL and Gunny Glide. I haven't tried Gunny Glide, so I couldn't even tell you if it's any good. You know, it could be the end all be all knife oil. I wouldn't know. The bottles are different sizes, like Jared remembers. There we go. That's why I don't think you're ever gonna mistake Gunny Glide for KPL, to be honest. So, you know, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So maybe KPL went a little crazy on that one. Maybe not. I don't know. But I think they were basically kind of like say Coke going after Pepsi. You know, you're using a fucking plastic bottle, and I got my stuff in a plastic bottle. And Coke's like, you know, yeah, but my bottom's different than yours, and I got swirls at the top. Like, just do something different a little bit, right? Like, just make yours a little bit different, make yours stand out a little bit more, and then everybody's fucking happy. But using a needle applicator on a bottle is not new. It fucking is not new. I've been using shit like that for all kinds of parts for way before KPL came around. That is not new. It really is not. And I know they were mentioning that vape oils, right? Vape oil's been using them however long vaping's been around. So let's not get it twisted. KPL didn't invent the needle applicator plastic bottle. So, oh, did you? I know. I need to start reading the comments. I'm going to start reading the comments. Trust me, I'm here. 9 is story time. Yes, 9 is story time. The main issue wasn't between KPL and Gunny Glide. I didn't know that. I thought it was. You know, like I said, I don't know enough information. I read some of the emails. I saw the dude Gunny. I was going to pull it up just so we could read it ourselves together, so that I wasn't sitting here spreading misinformation and we could just read it together. Because I read through it on Instagram. There you go. Bel Ray did it 30 years ago. And, you know, they have those long tubes that what Nano Oil uses. I'm not saying that's the same thing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that there are other ways to do it. So, you know, fucking, you can come up with a tall bottle, right? Not one that's this big, but one that's this big, right? Like, there's so many different ways we could do it to make it better. And that's almost probably what I would do, right? Like, if you want to bitch about my bottle looking similar to yours, then I would just change it a little bit, but still have the needle applicator, make a shape or something, or maybe just taller. So now you're getting more oil. I don't know. Maybe a double bottle that's hooked together. I don't know. Something unique. But I heard that's what KPL is going to do now. You hate Nano? I'm not a big fan of those long bottles. I had two of them, the ones you get from Blade HQ. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. The one with the needle applicator, but they're long and skinny. They're almost like a pen. I had two of them shatter on me. And it's plastic, so it's kind of weird that it shattered, but it's like once it got down to like this much left, I was squeezing it, trying to get it out, and it would just shatter and then fucking oil everywhere. So yeah, I don't like that stuff either. I'm very out of the loop in the knife roll drama. First I heard of the slicey thing was when he uploaded that. There are needle applicator bottles everywhere online, and plastic bottles are everywhere already. Fight over the quality of the lube, not the fucking packaging. I wish I had a like some type of horn or something to like, or maybe like an explosion, kaboom, because that was. Now, come on, camera, because you were right on point. I agree. Make your product really good. I'm sorry, guys. This damn thing does this every once in a while, and it's like it wants to focus on Neeves knives back there instead of me. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Um, I heart, not hate. Oh, you love, not hate. Um, I hate those bottles, the long tube bottles. I didn't mind the oil. It was just the bottles, but I like KPL though. KPL, I love KPL. I'll be honest, KPL. But I haven't tried the other stuff, so I can't speak on it. But I've tried a lot of other stuff, and nothing has compared to KPL as of yet. Um, Guys getting pulled over by the cops with 10 different bottles of oil on them. Imagine them doing a drug testing on KPL and Gunny Glide. Oh, that's hilarious. Why you got all these damn bottles in your car, boy? Okay, so what the fuck is going on with Chris Reeves? Talica's still in here. I know he's got some issues going on with Chris Reeves, but what is the deal? Every time I turn around the past 2 months, everybody's having issues. Everybody from Lock Rock, wrong blades, wrong this, bad heat. I mean, just seems like it's endless. Talica, how many issues have you had? He just bought his first Sabenza, and not a regular Sabenza. This fucking thing is decked out, and it looks sweet as hell. It looks beautiful, beautiful knife, but he's had some issues, and now, and I watched a video a couple weeks ago. Somebody posted where, and this was the first time I seen this. Now it's been multiple times, but the guy had the wrong blade on his knife, and there was some other issues. Not just that, it was some other issues. Like he went to open it up, and it was like all like messed up trying to open it. Then his other one, so he had two. He had a big one and a small one. One was like all messed up. The other one had the wrong blade. And it just seems like, and listen, I understand that Chris Reeves' son, I forget his name, and I only want the best for him and his company, and I'm sure he's taking on a lot right now. But yeah, Snuzz, it's definitely a big deal. Talica, we were just talking about your Sabenza. What all issues did you have with your Sabenza? Uh, yeah, wrong blade is definitely a big deal. But yeah, I think the son is trying to run the company, and it's just, he's got a lot on his plate. Maybe bit off more than he can chew. It does happen. But a lot of issues are coming out of that factory right now, and it seems like issues that shouldn't be happening. Like I was talking to Talica, and we were talking about it, and we were saying that if you're using a new knife, because he's always used the same steel for a long time now, so he probably doesn't have any other steel in his shop. Then all of a sudden, you get what's up, Marco Polo? All of a sudden, you get some new steel in your shop, right? You have new steel in the shop. Well, if you have new steel in the shop, maybe you should check and make sure that the right steel matches the card, because he's sending knives out with the card saying one thing and people thinking that's what they have till they take their knives apart. And then they realize that it's not the S45 like it's supposed to be, it's S35VN. So they're putting the wrong blades on on the knives, and they deal with it. I'm not saying they don't take care of it. Their fucking warranties are great, and that's awesome. I always say this is not about what you did. It's not about what you did wrong. It's about what you do about it, right? That's what the big deal is. And I think anybody can respect that. If you fuck something up, right? Like on a knife or something, then fix it. Don't blame it on me. Don't try to, just fix it. And most times people are okay with that as long as the company fixes the knife. Then it's not that big of a deal. But this is seeming like it's common, like really common lately. And Talica's probably not listening, so he doesn't understand. But he's had significant issues with his Chris Reeves knife. Is now head of so he had a mismatched blade, and his card said whatever, and it wasn't the right steel. Something else happened too, and then I forget how long it's gonna take. Like, it was a few different things. Damn it, this camera! You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna move this way really quick, and we're not gonna look at the Neevesknives thing. We're gonna go like this. I think it'll be a little bit better if I do that. There we go. There we go. Okay. Here, this way. Everything's backwards in this camera, guys. Sorry. They're smoking weed at Reeves' factory. Possibly. Yes, fix it and you get respect. Yeah. He'll never be his dad, but I think he will grow into the role. Yeah, but I feel like he's been doing it for a while now. At least I thought. Okay, the pocket clip screw was an issue. They sent me a letter. Oh, yeah. So he ordered a part. This is crazy that he ordered a part. They sent him the part without the part. So it's like if you order a part from me and I send you this plastic with the name on it, but there's nothing in it. So what are you doing that you're rushing so bad that you pull parts out of the basket that you've already taken out of the plastic and used on something else, and now you're mailing it? You didn't even check to make sure the screw was in there. So things like that, wrong blades, a bunch of different things. And I guess I don't know how many people that happened to. I've heard of, I think, 4 people now that had the wrong blade, that had a S35VN when it was supposed to be S45. So he'll never be. 101? We got 101 likes? No way. Oh, you guys are amazing. We have 80 likes, but 100 people watching. That's awesome. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. But yeah, don't forget to drop a like or dislike. The people that aren't the people aren't liking the video must be employees at Chris Reeves. Ian says, I haven't told anyone though. Only people that have heard through the grapevine know to disassemble and check the blade markings. Yes, that's how I believe everybody's finding out, is when they're disassembling their knife. They're disassembling it and they're like, wait a second. Because I think I don't think the S45VN has a marking on it. And why doesn't it? Why wouldn't they? It doesn't have to be big, but just something small to where they can identify it so they're not having this issue. If anyone is interested, I am doing a great giveaway, and anyone that donates to my GoFundMe is eligible. Thank you. When is the giveaway, Monster? And do you know what the giveaway is? I think that'd be important to tell, because like just saying a giveaway, people are like, well, fuck, that could be a damn Kershaw leak or a Gerber, right? So I think you should tell people what the giveaway is and the date. Um, I know you're trying to get the GoFundMe up, but if people donate and it doesn't hit its mark, they probably want to know if they're going to still get it or not. I got my 2000K giveaway coming soon. Congratulations, Knife Sergeant. That is awesome. Oh. Oh, no problem, bud. You can share anytime. I was just asking so you can tell people in the comments, because then you know what I mean, they're more likely to go click on it and go do it, so that they know. Um S Here we go. S45 has 45 under the washer, but I'm saying, like, you think they expose, and then if that's the case, why are that means they're putting them together and then matching the card. Okay, so this is my point, is that the cards, right? It comes with a card stating the steel. They fill out the card before they match the knife with it, obviously, because so many knives are S35, but they're matched with the S45 card. So they're not checking to make sure to say this is an S45 VN knife, because they can't unless they take it apart or they build it right there at the same time. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you know that you have two different steels in your factory now, not just one, because before it didn't matter. They could just take a card. All the cards are the same. I mean, the ones with inlays are going to be different than the ones with no inlays, but you get what I'm saying. Majority of them are going to be the same. So now that you have two steels, make sure the fucking shit matches, because that's an issue. And one time is one thing, but this keeps happening. So maybe make that stamp more visible so that you can make sure before it gets matched with the card. Right. I've been meaning to check out your channel. Yes, definitely get over there and check out his channel. Awesome channel. Damn it. I I said this today to somebody. Said what? Mine is a unique. um Yeah, why does this thing keep changing on me? Sorry, guys. All right, theory. Chris Reeve secretly sneaks into the factory to switch to blade steel sometimes just to fuck with his son. That's hilarious. That is so funny. I sent mine in for the wrong blade issue and received an email asking if I can remind them again what's in for work because they have someone new. Like they forgot what I sent. Man. And I like Chris Reeve's knives. I think his son is, taking on a big load, and I'm sure he's not as prepared as. Let's put up a different knife. I keep showing the same damn knife. And I think maybe, he's obviously getting on the roll, right? But I think his dad had everything so efficient that he probably shouldn't have changed anything at first. Maybe he started changing things that he shouldn't have yet. And I'm not just saying like the steel, maybe in the factory or something. I don't know. I'm not there, but um, get the ball rolling really good first, so that you're caught up and everything's rolling very smooth. Then start changing things, like steel and stuff. Um, so just in case if you guys don't know, carbonize is Neeves. I got the TS129 on your review. Thanks, man. Awesome. Hell yeah, it's a badass. That's a badass knife. I just got a new Tucson myself. Watch the unboxing tomorrow. It's pretty sweet. Carbonize has scales for the AD 20.5 in fat carbon and micarta. I think he told me $75 for the micarta, 120 or 125 for the fat carbon scales. Just so you guys know, if you guys want to get any fat carbon scales for your AD 20.5s or micarta. Thought about getting some because I really want some fat carbon in my life. That's a lot of money for some scales for that 80 20.5. It's already an expensive knife. I don't know. I thought about it, but it's like then it'd be a $275 knife. You already reserved the fat carbon. Awesome. So that's what I was leaning towards was the fat carbon. But then I started thinking, man, the thing would be sweet with some micarta. I have such a thing for micarta. However, I don't have any fat carbon. So I want fat carbon. Um, but what I was wanting to put fat carbon on was one of my churros. Or not one of them. The one I have the two churros, but the one with carbon fiber scales, the F3R. Hey, to a Dave. Don't forget to hit that like bell. Thank you for all the info you provide. Thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's why I buy $50 knives or less. I never had an issue with the wrong blade. I'm paying for shit and getting it. It's beautiful. That is hilarious. The one good thing though is that Chris Reeve, there's one thing you can guarantee. If there's any issues, he's going to deal with it. So an issue's not an issue as long as they deal with it. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just the trouble of mailing it back and stuff. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that's funny too. Um, what's up, Jigsaw? Um, I wouldn't say that, but I don't know. I guess he used to hunt, but we're gonna speak about that in just a minute. Um, fuck this thing. Let's just shoot the shit. I threw my notes out, guys. I threw my notes out. Let's just shoot the shit for the next 20 minutes, and then we'll go on to story time, which you guys already know the subject, so I don't think I need to talk about it yet. So let's talk about what you guys got going on. What has been around the community, I guess, besides the obvious. I need someone to talk me into my first churro. Might have to watch an MC unboxing again. All you gotta do is watch some of my videos. I can talk you into it pretty damn fast. I love my churros. I love my churros. I got the F3R and the F95, and I do plan on getting the scales. I already had the cap open. Hey, Tony! Thanks, man! Taking the time to say I really appreciate your channel and love these lives. You are the manager. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's awesome. I got the all titanium frag pattern F95. Sweet ass knife. Love this damn knife. Ooh, see how smooth that is? I do think the larger churros are the best churros, in my opinion. I'm not saying the neon and the Hatian or whatever, the Hatian isn't great because it is. But the bigger ones, I like the flipper tabs better. I like the action a little bit better. They're built a little stockier and sturdier. Now they are a lot more money. So, don't, I guess take my opinion on that because it is going to be based on what you can afford. The F3R, I have the white carbon fiber on it. But damn it, wouldn't it look good with some fat carbon on it? And I seen a couple places. I seen a guy on Instagram that was selling fat carbon for the churro. I have to find him again. Once I do, I'm thinking about ordering some from him. I'm not sure what color, possibly like maybe a purple and green, or maybe just like a purple, maybe just a green, maybe a blue. I don't know. Whatever catches my eye. But I need to get some fat carbon in my life. Carbon probably going to record my quantum review tonight. Great knife. Was tempted by an F11 today. Yeah, so definitely go check out if he does. I'm not trying to force him to do it, but if he does do that video tonight, definitely check that out. The Quantum's amazing knife. Amazing knife. And man, they are on another level. I know a lot of people say, because of the quality of some, not all, some Riats, some custom knife factory knives, that they're catching up to the quality of a Shirogorov. And I agree, they are catching up, but I've had these for a while now, and these things are so solid. It's on another level. Like, they've never came off centered. The pivots never back out when you take them apart and put them back together. Like, so I know people have had issues taking them apart and putting them back together because of maybe the Loctite and things like that. Mine came apart easily, went right back together very easily. They do have bearings that have the brass washers, but they can come out. So other than that, though, just the build quality is super. Like, the tolerances are insane on these. And on this one, particular, the ergos, this is like the best ergos I've ever felt on a knife. It's just contoured and thick in all the right places. This one's really comfortable too, the Thai version, but obviously this one is going to be a little more, the carbon fiber one's going to be a little more comfortable in solid Thai, but this is still extremely comfortable. But yeah, they are amazing knives. I really like them. Thanks, guys. I'll relaunch Jared. I feel like the Sabenzas are worth the money, but the Shuro's almost 3 times the price for me. Yeah, unless if you get a Hatian or a Neon. But yeah, if you want one of the big dogs, yes, they are double the price at least. You can find them on the secondary sometimes, just depending. Like, I know this one I think is like 1100 or was like 1100. And I think this one was 900, I believe. Mr. Amazing, thank you again. You are Mr. Amazing for a reason. Churros and wait, does anyone watch these live streams and hear Jared fidgeting a knife and grab one to fidget along with? No, just me. My QSP Penguin is getting a workout tonight. The new Corvette is comparable in performance to a Ferrari at half the price, but it still isn't a Ferrari. Ain't that the fucking truth? Those new Corvettes, though, man, those things are pretty sweet. But yeah, I see what you meant. I see what you're getting at. Churros and Grimsmos are in the same category. Both are nicely made, but not worth it to me. Yeah, everybody's gonna have their limit, and what they can afford, what they can buy, what they can spend, and what's worth it to them, what they can justify. Some people, they're gonna look at it and say, that's a car, right? That's a transmission. That's my new front porch, right? So it is going to depend on where your budget's at the time, what you're capable of, and what you can justify. So, but that doesn't mean anybody's any better or anything like that, because I think that sometimes, like, say, if I spend $250, right? But that's what I got. You know what I mean? That's all I got to spend. Then that $250 knife might mean just as much to me as your $600 knife, right? Because we both spent the same thing. You just happen to have 500 extra. I had $250 to spare. So, everybody's budget's going to be a little different, but the knife is still going to mean the same thing to that person. Over $500 for a knife, I'll buy a firearm. A lot of people say that, for sure. A lot of people say that. The one thing with a knife, and I'm not saying that a firearm can't be a multi-uses, right? You can hunt and you can hunt, right? With a knife, you can do a lot. You can do cutting, prying, scraping. It's a tool all day, every day. It's not only used for one job. So I think that's why sometimes knives can be a little bit more money, and they like some of them, it depends. I think there's a lot more handwork done. Nah, don't get me wrong. Like, look at a firearm that has handwork done on it. Whew, you want to talk about expensive? Holy shit! I've seen some firearms that have had a lot of handwork done on them, and knives aren't even close. To a Dave, let's show some love to Monster Race 38 and his GoFundMe. Oh man, thank you, to a Dave. Yes, definitely check out Monster's GoFundMe. I remember being scared to use my $70 delicate because damn, it costed $70. It was a lot of time. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I was the same way with a lot of different knives. And it's not like I bought them to use, right? I bought them to use, but it's like you get them and you don't want to scratch them at first. You don't want to scratch them, but then as soon as you do, then it's like, all right, fuck it, let's get it now. So you do have that little period where it's like, man, I don't want to mess this thing up. I don't want to scratch the finish. You're being careful walking in between stuff because you don't want to scratch the clip. And then all of a sudden you do, and it's like, well, you're scratched now. You know what's about to happen now. It's like we're on to the races. Brass Knuckles says, I'll take that $500 knife. Talek says he hasn't shot his gun in 4 years. Get your ass to the range, Big Daddy. Get your ass to the range or a good field. But yeah, that's kind of my point, right? You can use your knife every single day, sometimes all day, at work, at home. So it has so many uses, and it is such a handy thing to have that it's kind of like this. Like, it's hard to compare them because it's not like, say, a hammer and a nail gun, right? A hammer and a nail gun do the same thing. But just because you have a nail gun doesn't mean you don't need your hammer, because your hammer does multiple things. The nail gun shoots nails, right? Shoots nails into wood, puts wood together. A hammer taps things over, it pries things, it bangs on things, it demolishes things for demo work. You can pull things out. You can use it as a scraper if you need to, and you can hammer nails. And it gets into tighter spots that you can't get your nail gun into. So it's just there's just two. Even though those two are the same thing, it's kind of like that with a knife and a firearm, except for with a firearm, it's just a one-track duty, and a knife, is many tasks, and you can use it all day, every day. It's going to be to me, it's one of my most valuable tools in my pocket. Cedric did the M4 test with 250 grit, signed 6,000 on the other, with phenomenal results on the rope. At least you ever get requests for edges like that? I haven't gotten requests for edges like that, but I would totally do it if somebody wanted. Hey, I don't know if somebody's seen it. Did I see Cedric and Ada do that angle test? I don't want to say angle test. Do you guys remember when I was talking about doing two different angles on a knife, where you do like a 15-degree angle on one side, a 22-degree angle on the other side? Did he do a test like that? Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, I would do that. But yeah, that's so Steve actually explained that really good in a video a few days ago, and he explained it really well. That's actually been a pretty common thing, I guess, in the chef world with chef knives, and he kind of talked about why and everything else. John Powell, like Super Still Steve said, none of us are ever getting in a knife fight. I'll pull out my gun and shoot him. Yeah, I mean, if obviously, but I'm saying I'm not trying to compare a knife to a gun in a self-defense situation. I'm saying you're not going to use your firearm to cut your bag of chips. You're not going to open up your package with your firearm unless if you're my dad, right? So, it's not that's my point. Like, you are using the knife all day, every day. The gun, you're praying you don't have to use, unless if you're my dad. So you're trying not to use that, but in a life or death situation, yeah. Or if you're hunting, that's different though. So you can hunt with it, rifle or shotgun. You can do that with a bow too, but the jobs are different. So that's all I was saying. It's two different things. One is a tool for your pocket for EDC, to make life easier. The other one is to save your life. All I'm saying, over $500 for a pocket knife, just get a firearm. I know what you're saying. I agree with you. I do and don't agree with you, but I know what you're saying. You're saying that if you're going to spend that much money on something, you're just going to get a firearm and spend $100 on the knife. I get it. And a lot of times, that's what you should do. Unless if you see that knife that talks to you and you say, man, I got to have that thing. And sometimes that happens. Since trust me when I say there are a lot of people in here right now that have spent more than $500 on the knife. And all of them, I guarantee every single one of them got more than $500 of knives probably in their collection. At least the overwhelming majority. I was just thinking today about how bad 99% of folders are for self-defense. Yes and no. I guess, yeah, it just depends. I think a lot of them are. I think a lot of them are just fine. Because, it just kind of depends. But yeah, I think it depends on the person, because I think some people, don't get me wrong, the right tool for the right job, but I think some people are going to be dangerous no matter what's in their hands. It's not you can give them a fucking whatever, a screwdriver, it doesn't matter. But yeah, with some people, but then in that case, it doesn't matter what knife you put in that person's hands, the other person, because nothing is dangerous in their hands, right? So I think it depends on the person more than the knife. Obviously, some knives aren't going to be very dangerous. You know what I'm saying, though. The majority of regular knives. Put your hands up, you bag of chips. Bag of chips says, I ain't got no hands. Bang. Most I've spent on a single knife so far is $3,000. Holy shit. That's a lot of money on a knife. There you go. Knife sergeant don't play around with his knives. I keep a fixture on my person too. There you go. Keep them both. Who's better than one? One is none. I keep a fixie on me too. I'm not a dangerous person, but if someone's fucking with my family, I'll get down. There you go. Yeah, I think an overwhelming majority of men, um, I think women too, but I think women shouldn't have to. I think that's the men's duty. Is going to do whatever it takes to protect their family, life or death. I think there are going to be some betas out there that do run and hide and tuck their tail in the sight of fear. But I majority of men put to the push to the right limit is going to do what's necessary to protect their family, regardless. I think a lot of it's instinct, and but like I said, there's going to be some. There's going to be some, because I've seen some. I've seen some very. It's kind of sad when because I've seen this a few times where a guy does try to defend, but he's never been put in that situation before, so he's not good at it, and he winds up failing. And it's sad. It's sad to watch a man want to and try to defend his family, but have nothing to offer. So it winds up becoming a bad day for him. Um, you know, and in some cases, maybe the family was okay, and he's the only one who got hurt. So I guess he did his job in that case, right? You take the beating, whatever. But it's sad when you see somebody try to defend their family, but they just don't know what they're doing and aren't capable of extreme violence, I guess you could say. And it backfires on them. They look stupid, they get hurt, and it's sad. But, that's why I don't know. I hate to get into it like that. I know some people aren't capable of doing certain things because of health reasons or physical reasons or whatever. But if you are physically capable or fit, I think it's important for you to be able to be dangerous in the right situations or wrong situations, I guess I could say. Jared got good morals. Don't see too often with the younger generation. Thank you, Doug. Thank you. Talk shit about me, no problem. Take a step towards my wife, huge problems. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I honestly think a lot of that is fading. You know, um, like Doug was just saying, I think too much of it is fading. And I'm not trying to put the blame on anybody at all, at all. But you know what? I am actually. I am putting the blame on someone. I'm putting it on the men because the men have become such fucking betas that we've literally let women get masculine. And when the women are getting masculine and they're taking on fucking battles that the men should be doing, that's sad. That's sad for me to see. I don't care how tough you are as a female. I'm not saying you're not tough, not capable. I'm not saying anything like that. Like, that's not me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying what a man's duty is to his family, and it should never have to fall on the lady or the woman. But we see it all the time, and I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched women fight, like a fight, and it blows my mind that the man's not stepping in or doing something more or whatever. And it's disgusting to look at, but the majority of men do. But it's like, it's almost like I see sometimes, not always, I'm just saying what I've seen sometimes, where it's like the man is almost the woman and the woman is the man, and it's like, the fuck am I looking at? And I'm saying in a regular relationship. Obviously, I'm not talking about like in, like a different gender relationship. I'm talking about, in a regular relationship. But yeah, we really got off on some weird shit, didn't we? Women are taking on COVID with a strong arm towards COVID. You sure it's an actual woman and not a womanly man? Um, well, I think no, I'm talking about actual women. I'm saying actual women that I think we see it all over the place. I think we see it and don't even realize it anymore, because I think men have masculine traits that women have taken over a lot, and sometimes it just has to do with the way we talk and everything else. And it's not, it wasn't normal 100 years ago, and I'm not saying it should have been. I'm just saying that it's just, it's like now we're seeing a trend in where more women are acting more and more like men, doing men's roles, playing men's roles, and doing things like the men. And in some cases they kind of have to, but and a lot of times you can even talk about like all the men or boys being raised by single mothers, right? Not having a man and the father. So that's automatically right there going to be one part against them being a masculine man, because they never had a masculine man in their life. How the fuck, if you never seen it, right? Now, maybe they had family and things like that, but I'm saying if they didn't, so, and we're seeing more and more of that. I mean, I could go through statistics right now that would blow your guys' mind. I pay attention to all that shit because I'm just weird like that. Men are doing women's roles too. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. It's that it's like it's reversing, and I could go on and on about why I think that is, and studies and all kinds of shit. But man, we'd really get off in the bushes, and we got story time coming up. Most women really hate being forced in that. I agree. I agree. I think that they naturally feel that they have to. I think some do and don't even acknowledge. Um, Some of them do it as a defense mechanism. I think just there's going to be a lot of different circumstances of why, right? Um, but yeah, I agree. Most women are going to be happier in a feminine role. I agree with that. I don't know, but my generation was taught to break one face to defend the woman in the family. Yeah, yeah. So was mine. So was mine. I couldn't tell you. One day maybe I'll have my sister on, and we can listen to her talk about me and her growing up and all the fights I got into over her. And she's older than me, so I was fighting older people, but that was my duty, that was my job, and I had to. I didn't have a choice. Um, you see a woman fighting while the man is standing. I guess it's not a womanly man because you know they're gonna run, don't want to break the nails or lashes fly off of their waist. I hate I hate people by default because they can't be trusted. If a bad situation takes place, their lives are already forfeit. What I'm prepared to do to them has no limit. Yeah, I think some people don't, how can I put this? I think some people get away with things so much that they don't realize. I think they do realize to an extent because I think in this, like in certain environments, they don't act the way they would act around other environments. So, but yeah, I think sometimes people don't acknowledge what they're possibly getting themselves into until it's too late. And I think we've all seen that shit, where somebody put themselves in a situation that they regretted right after, and probably got hurt really bad or whatever. I mean, even on like I'm sure you guys have watched a lot of videos like on active self-protection and things like that where robbers come in or robbers try to steal something or whatever the situation where they're mugging somebody and it winds up being a bad fucking day for them. A bad day. All right. So I I got news for you guys. Beta males have been around a lot longer than oh yeah, for sure. It's a generational thing. It's not like it's just the past 10 months. It's going to be probably in the last 20 years. Uh, but I think it's still going to have to fall on like the parents, right? The parents, because you can obviously have, there's going to be somebody who's 15 years old right now and who is not going to be like that as a man. It's going to be about the parents, the way they were raised, their morals, and lots of other things. Like, I'll be damned if my son, but I remember how my father was with me, and that wouldn't have been possible. Not fucking possible, because he wouldn't allow it. And since he was like that, there like, if I could tell you guys some stories my dad used to make, the things he's made me do. Holy shit, crazy shit. But he, that was his way of teaching me and showing me, how to be tough or how to be this or how to not get hurt or whatever, Um, and his mouth, and the way he talked, you guys would love it. He was hilarious. I bought a new large Sebenza 31 S45 blade. Knives of Boise. I took it apart and it says 45. I have not checked hardness or had the steel assayed. It's been rock solid in all regards. There you go, Dennis. That's awesome. Good for you. I'm glad you have, because we were talking about it that some people's were different, and I'm sure the majority were just fine. Not your average EDCs. Hers was getting rock pretty bad. I don't think she sent it in yet. I agree with protecting women, but today you have no idea who to help and what would happen if you did. Shown here, the women end up. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think I think we all know the scenario when it does take our help, but yeah, I agree. I don't think I've gotten myself into situations that I had no business helping, right? And I've looked like a fool. I've gotten into situations where I've done stuff to people for doing something to a female, and then they're back with them a week later. Man, I could tell you stories about shit like that, but I think I'm mostly talking about your pack, right? Your family, your kid, your girl, your mother, your sister, your cousin, things like that. And cousins are sometimes a stretch. It just depends. But yeah, all right, we're getting into it. All right. So, slicey dicey. My dad said like that speaking English, you were okay. Speaking French, you were in trouble. In the Vietnamese, you ran for your life. Um, you can't go. Probably not. And that's some of the issue. That's some of the problems. Um, all right. So this whole thing with slicey dicey, right? Now, I'm sure everybody's seen everything that's been going on. I don't want to pretend like I know everything because I don't. I just recently learned some of the stuff, so forgive me if I'm ignorant to a lot of it, right? Now I've seen some of the receipts and all that stuff. This and that. The only thing I can say, what I can say, is that okay, from my opinion, what I think Slicey should do, just from my opinion, just man to man opinion, my what I would do in that situation or whatever is just face it head on. All right, deal with every single person accordingly. Admit you fucked up, which I think I seen his last video. I think he's doing that, right? I think he's at least attempting to own up to it, because kind of like you go to Starbucks, right? If you go to Starbucks and they fuck up your coffee, you don't want to hear them come back and tell you why they fucked up your coffee. You don't want to hear about their machines. You don't want to hear about the thing that spilled. You don't want to hear none of that. You just want to hear, what are you going to do to fix my drink? That's it. And I think that that'd be the best way to go about it. And just, if you got to make Zoom calls with people and talk to them face to face, if you got to call them personally on the phone, if you got to take the money out of your pocket, if you got to sell something, do it. Do whatever it takes to make it right. I think that that's what would be most important, and I think people would respect that. Um, I can't speak on, the situations he got into. Everybody gets into situations. I understand that. And trust me, I've had my share. So I completely get that. Sometimes we do get overwhelmed with things, right? And I'm happy for him and his baby. I'm sorry for his losses. Congratulations to him and his baby. I think that's a blessing. I think that's amazing. And I only hope the best for him and his family. With this whole thing, though, if things got off in the weeds, deal with it head on, right? If some people are pissed off and if he's fucked up a couple deals in the community, make it right. That's it. Make it right. Don't try to beat around the bush. Don't try to pussyfoot around. Just make it right and do whatever it takes to make it right. And if it does take a little bit extra on your end, do it, right? Just do it. Maybe it might be a loss on your end, but in the end, your reputation will at least be able to be there still. Not saying, it's, I don't know, right? I don't know how deep it goes. I don't know. Like I said, I do hope the best for the guy. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's still worth saving. I think everybody should at least owe him the respect if he does that. If he doesn't do that, right? If he doesn't do that, then that's another story, right? But if he does what he can to make it right, now I know some people will say, well, he didn't do anything until he was called out on it. Yeah, that might be. That might be. Sometimes maybe that's what it takes, right? Sometimes people do need to be called out on their bullshit. Sometimes maybe you don't realize how deep it got until it gets there. And I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not making excuses for him because I don't fucking know. I'm just saying deal with it accordingly, right? Now that it is out there, we're at this point, and it's kind of like if And I understand why people are calling it out. I completely understand that. Because if I dealt with somebody in the community and he did something bad to me, right? And I didn't tell, say, whoever, then he goes over to that person, does the same thing. It can look bad, right? And I like Slacy. I don't have nothing against him. I like the guy. Um, he's never done nothing wrong to me. I'm not going to treat him like he did. My friends are involved, and quite a few of them. So just act accordingly. Deal with them individually. Do whatever's necessary to fix this situation, and that's it. And moving on. I think people can at least respect that. And like I said, no excuses, no bullshit, no nothing. Just I fucked up. Fucking give me a second chance. I'll make it right and do that. But put your money where your mouth is. If you're gonna say you're gonna fix it, fucking fix it and do it as soon as possible. Don't wait it out. Don't time it out. Just do whatever it takes. Because like I said about the coffee thing, right? If you go to Starbucks and they fuck up your coffee, you don't want to hear why. You never want to hear why. You're gonna look at them like, I don't give a fuck why you fucked up my coffee. I just want my coffee. Or what are you gonna do to make my coffee right? Right? I didn't order a fucking caramel macchiato frappe fucking twist. I ordered a black coffee. It's like just make it right. And that's it. That's it. And if some people are coming down hard, well, it's probably because they feel like they shouldn't have gotten to this point. And maybe it shouldn't have, and that's why at this point now we're here, right? We're here. So just do whatever it takes. I think everything will be fine as long as he does that. I think if he just owns up, and I'm not saying he hasn't, because the last video he looked, like he was trying to own up and trying to take care of it. So just do what you said, and that's it. Do what you said, make it right. Talk to everybody. Contact them. Have a fucking Zoom call. I think that'd be very important to just do face to face. I don't think you need to message them. I think you should just talk to them face to face. Fucking whether it's through a Zoom call, Insta, whatever the fuck it's called, where you're on Instagram and you talk to them face to face. Do whatever it takes and explain to them, and you ain't even got to explain nothing to them. Just tell them, listen, man, I'm sorry. I fucked up. Tell me what I can do to make it right. And I'm sure they'll tell you. And then do it. That's it. Do it. Make it happen. And if it does cut into profits and things that you have, then that's what it's going to be. All right. We all take losses sometimes. So just take it on the chin. Sometimes you got to take shit on the chin. And sometimes it hurts. But does anyone here believe in the hollow earth theory and that the aliens living in the center of the earth control us? Man, I don't know what the fuck to believe anymore. I wouldn't doubt it. William Knife Life, thank you, man. I appreciate it, bud. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the donations. You guys have no idea. Lindy Lou's in the house. I seen you when you came in, Lindy Lou. Does anyone here? Oh, I already read that. I don't think he even knows who he should be reaching. I think he knows the majority. I think he does. I think there's going to be some people maybe he doesn't, and maybe in that case, reach out to him. I think there are people that should be reaching out to him, right? I do think that is the case sometimes, and there might be some people he doesn't remember. I'll be honest, I deal with a lot of fucking people. I forget a lot of shit too. So if that's the case, and like he said, if he doesn't get a hold in a couple of days and you have an issue, contact him, because we got to take accountability too, right? Think about that. And I'm not saying some people didn't. So, maybe I spoke a little early on that one, but what I mean is that if you don't say something, how does anybody know? Right? Maybe things do get off in the woods sometimes. And I'm not saying this whole thing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying say something you bought a sticker and you didn't get it. it's a fucking sticker, right? Talk to him. Tell him, hey, bud, I paid for a sticker whenever, right? I never received it. I'm sure he'll get it to you, right? Like stuff like that. Like at a certain point, you should message him and let him know, right? Whatever it is. If it's something that possibly is forgotten about. I know we're talking about bigger things than that and things that he hasn't forgotten about. And in that case, he knows who he's going to have to deal with. I'm talking about the people that it could be a possibility that he forgot. And and sometimes when you get off in the weeds like that, you might possibly forget things like that. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or that it's right or that it's justified. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that that's what happens. Yeah, it bothered me. And if he wants to make the efforts towards redemption, I'm here for it. But just don't fuck around. Right. Right. That's it. Exactly. I think we're very friendly community, and I'm not speaking for everybody, right? I'm not trying to do that, and I'm not even trying to act like I'm speaking for anybody. But I believe the majority, right? There's going to be some people, maybe not, but I think the majority, if you're straight up and you're honest and you just say, hey, I fucked up, right? I fucked up, and no excuses. That's it. I fucked up, and this is what I'm going to do to fix it. I think a majority of people will accept that, but there's going to be people that aren't, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, sometimes that shit happens, and but the one thing you're not going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure it doesn't get off in the weeds again, because this is, I hate to keep on going with that, but you guys know what I mean. I feel like he's been taking a bunch of people for years longer than we know, and if that's the case, and that's fucking yeah, I don't know, I don't know. I've always liked the guy. I've never, no, I mean, the biggest thing like that I ever heard that anybody really had an issue about before, and maybe I did, and I forget, right? I know I talked to a couple people a while back, and I think I do remember one thing, but regardless, though, like what I'm saying is that, like, kind of how, like, people, because he's a liberal, right? I don't give a shit if any of you guys are liberals. Just follow me, right? Just follow me, right? Sometimes I'll say liberal and fucking half the chat goes away. Like, just let me finish talking first, fucks. But a lot of the community is part of the 2A community and is more right leaning, right? Because they like their freedoms. And I do think that sometimes things on the left side can fold on itself. Like it's the things that they want or believe in, or whatever. It's kind of like he's a comedian, right? He's a comedian, but he's on the left who doesn't believe in freedom of speech. How can you be a comedian? And like those things I remember hearing, right? And I kind of agree with that. Like I think that's a difficult argument. And if you're going to say, well, I don't believe in that, I do believe in freedom of speech. Well, the overwhelming majority of your party doesn't, and is constantly fighting to ban, cancel this, that, and shut down and fucking torture people who use their freedom of speech, and is constantly trying to suppress freedom of speech. So let's be real, right? Now, there's also other little things like he used to hunt. Whatever, I've heard him tell stories he used to hunt. I think that's awesome. I think everybody should hunt, especially when they're younger. I think that's a very important thing to learn how to do is hunt. And fish. I think both of them are very important. And I think they could possibly save you when, sometime in your life. I think learning how to do certain things is very, very important. We all know that that side does not like firearms. I'm not saying there aren't people from that side that don't like firearms, because I know there are. I know there's plenty of them that like firearms, but the point is that if you do, then you shouldn't be supporting a side that wants to ban them. And then like he was in the Air Force, right? He's in the Air Force. The Air Force, to me, that's a little controversial, right? Because you can't like okay, so if you are on that side and you believe the propaganda that's fed to you about like right leaning people, they're all racist, right? They're all racist. Like if you believe that shit, then I can't help you, right? I can't help you. It doesn't make fucking sense. I'm not saying they're all, but a majority of them, a big majority of them are Christian and believe in family values and freedom. That's what they believe in, freedom. I wouldn't even be like a right leaner. I'd be, well, I guess it'd be like right, but like I'm more libertarian than anything. I just, I believe in the Constitution and my freedoms. That's it. My fucking freedoms. Leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. Right. Um, I don't, you ever hunt with a potato? Go fuck yourself, Knife Sergeant. Only myself, Knife Sergeant. Only myself. Um, I hope I didn't insult you just now because I thought you were making a joke about me. I'm pretty sure you were, and I'm pretty sure I got it. But no, I'm not trying to get it off in the weeds. I already see people are leaving because I'm not trying to do that, right? But that's where I was going with this, is that that's the only thing I ever heard, right? So, and to me, since I believe the way I believe you can believe whatever you want. I'll still be friends with you. I'm not here to change your beliefs. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. Right? Maybe we can. Yes, yeah, I knew it, Knife Sergeant. You fuck. Um, but that's the beauty. That's the beauty of being free, and that's why I support the side I support, because I want you to believe whatever you believe, and I want to believe whatever I believe, and I don't think we should have to demonize each other or anything like that. Yeah, that's funny, Marco. But you guys get what I'm saying, and that's the only thing I ever heard. And I know he felt a certain way, and I hate to be talking about him like behind his back like this or anything. I hope he does see this, because I have nothing against him. He's given me some scales. I've never personally done anything for him. He's done stuff for me, so I have nothing against him. I've always liked him, but this, with all these issues and stuff, I think he just needs to address them and deal with them accordingly. Um, right. But yeah, that was the only thing though that I ever really heard anything negative about, was like that stuff but I know when he got into this community, and I've heard him say this, so this was out of his mouth, that he didn't know how the community was going to accept him, right? Because of, say, him being a comedian, being kind of left leaning, things like that. And I'm not saying he's left leaning like that, right? Right? There is a difference. Obviously, we all know that. We're not fucking stupid. But he didn't know how they were going to accept him, and everybody accepted him great, because that is how the overwhelming majority of that side is. They really are. The overwhelming majority is, the nicest people in the world and just want freedom. That's it. The freedom to choose, the freedom to move, the freedom to work, the freedom to live, the freedom to fuck, the freedom to do whatever the fuck they want without you or anybody else telling them what to do, and vice versa. And that's it. Comedian left leaning, no problem with me. Only problem, the lying, manipulative, and scumbaggery. You can't regulate human behavior. Wait, hold on. Oh, wait, I think are we back? Are we back? Tell me we're back, guys. Maybe not. Are we back? I can't tell. I can't tell at all. Okay, I think we're back. Yes.
When you're done with your live, can I have the iPad when you go on to the other one?
Yes.
How long is that going to be?
About 10 minutes.
You don't need that pad.
Take
it. Just let them know that you're not going to know what the stickers look like.
Well, I'm hoping it.
Pull out your phone if you really care.
Someone's dead. All right, guys. So, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
It wasn't my fault. Don't you dare.
It was all Kara's fault. It was all Kara's fault. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for welcoming me back. Welcome me back. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. Welcoming me back. But yeah, I just I think that was something he was worried about, and it wound up being just fine. I think everybody accepted it just fine. Nobody really cared. I heard a couple comments here and there, and there's a lot of people. I've talked to hundreds at this point of left-leaning people in this community. I'm friends with a lot of them. Give a shit what you are. Give two fucks what you are. I just hope that you keep an open mind and want the same freedoms that I have. And, I would hope in the future that you would take a look at who's trying to stop our freedoms. And, and I don't want to turn it political. I don't want to at all. I like just talking knives with y'all guys and talking crazy stories. But sometimes it does get to that point because today everything is fucking politics. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate that the dumbest things today are fucking politics. Like, it's like everything, even from this whole past year with all this stuff, like everything's been fucking politics. It makes me sick because it drives me nuts that we can't even get proper information. Like, think about that. We can't even get proper fucking information anymore without it being twisted, pulled, or blown out of proportion, or propagated, or propaganda this, propaganda that. Like, it just drives me nuts. This is what the fuck. Yeah, that's my point. Right. Everything. The only thing that hasn't, there's one thing that hasn't. One thing. Thank God. And that's MMA. MMA. And he said he wouldn't do that shit. And I love that he hasn't done that. Both parties are scum. Absolutely. Absolutely. Clap to that one. Clap to that one. Both parties are fucking scumbags. Both parties do not care about you and care about themselves. They only care about themselves. They care about being voted in. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there are a few, maybe a few. There's a couple. There's a handful of the ones that do, and and you can tell. I personally think you can tell. I think you can tell because they're trying to actually protect you from the other ones, and I mean that in a sincere way. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, like, how you can tell, but when you see somebody who actually cares about the workers, the people in the population, when they're not trying to scare you and get, and fear base you into giving up something, right? When they're literally trying to protect you from the people trying to do that. Those to me are the genuine ones that actually care about you and are trying to fight for you. I'm not saying they're not out for themselves. Of course they are. They have to be. Everybody is. But you know what I mean. In the big grand scheme of things, there's a couple of them that are going to be a little bit better in that sense, where they might protect you a little bit more. Super Steve is bringing Slicey down. The world is changing rapidly, and I'm not sure it's for the best. United we stand, divided we fall. Absolutely, absolutely, and that's sad, Timmy. That's sad. It is a sad thing because this country has been built on so many things that has made it so great, and to come in and want to stir it up and change it now when when things were technically like better than ever, right? It's like with anything, right? Things got to take time to change, settle in, and turn into what it is. And we became the best country, in my opinion, in the world. And but if you ask certain people, it's like the worst country in the world, and it's like I'd love to switch those people out for somebody in the third world country, just to give them a weekend in hell. So at what point will the zombies rise? I don't know, but I can't wait. I'm waiting for that shit. I'm waiting for aliens, zombies, fucking the Bigfoot. I'm waiting for it all because anything can happen now. Oh, there shouldn't be a career politician. Agreed. It shouldn't be a business. I always say that they're like governors, right? I think that their pay should be based on their economy. Can you imagine how many jobs would have closed down if it was based on the economy? Literally, if we switched that, when they were stopping everybody from working and they were telling everybody they couldn't work and all this, the next day, if it would have been like, okay, no problem, we'll shut down. Of course we'll shut down. Of course we'll shut down. But hey, since we're all shut down, you can't work either. So that means you can't make a dime either. The next day, they'd open back up. No. What?
Yes.
Yeah, what?
Do you remember me back in the day saying that the day that they take masks away, all those people, they were freaking out like you were going to kill them if you didn't wear one?
Yeah.
That very next day are going to be like, it's fine because the government said it was fine.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. And listen, now that they're bringing the mandates back in some places, like they did here,
right.
When they brought it back here, I shit you not, everything was fine. People were fine with it, with no masks. The fucking day that some places brought it back, a lady came into my work and was like, so do you have a mandate or not? Because I don't feel safe shopping here anymore.
You're in here, bitch. You're in here. Right.
Food product from me and my entire team, who none of us had masks on.
Yeah.
But isn't that fucking interesting to you?
You're so scared, but you're in here buying coffee from me.
The government said,
yes,
it's fine. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Instantly, people, and not only is it their own personal opinions, it's their the opinions that they pressure onto others.
Yeah.
Meaning that it gave this person a voice to talk shit to other people because of them being like, it's cool, it's not. I could literally bet
the video just stopped
back and forth every day. Your video is like choppy. Your audio isn't, but your video is.
I'm trying.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
Do you remember me calling that shit?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right,
that's all you had to say. Yeah, I think it's disgusting. I think we should all just do our own thing. But sorry if the video's kind of messing up. I'm trying to think. There we go. I'm gonna watch it now on this side because if I'm watching it here, I can't really tell when it stops. I gotta look over here. Kara took my pad, so we'll spend about 10 more minutes. But I appreciate you guys all hanging out. How many people do we have in here? I don't know. I think some people took back some likes. 87 people watching. So we definitely lost some when we started talking politics, which is okay. I don't blame them. I hate that, right? Like I said, I hate that we even turned things into that. I really do. I don't want to do that. My real opinion is we are on irreversible downward spiral. I don't want to believe it's irreversible. I don't think so. I think And you guys don't probably want to know my opinion on it, but my opinion is I believe we have another government um forcing things to our government, and is, possibly trying to, because you guys know where the money goes, right? The money goes where the money goes, and the rich get richer, and that's why a lot of those, a lot of people wonder, like, why are, like, the richest people wanting to turn this country into, say, a socialist country? Well, because it makes them richer, right? A lot of things, just like we were talking about earlier when we were talking about women and men being separated, women being more masculine, men being more feminine. Well, you know why? Well, women buy, I think, 70 something percent of all the products sold in America. So keeping them single makes them buy more. I could go on and on with all these shit. I'm not going to do this to you guys, but I do believe that it keeps the government in power, and then it keeps them. The way it's supposed to work is we're supposed to not need our government, right? We're supposed to run our government, not the opposite way around. It was never intended to be the people run the government. But with increasing things like taking away this, taking away that, taking your freedoms here, taking your freedoms away there, and stopping you this, like all that shit, it just gets them more in control and makes it to where we're constantly paying attention to them, constantly looking to them. What else can we do, Mr. Government? And like that's what they want from us. They want us literally begging and needing them, because then they have jobs, then they have more money, then they have more investments, then they can go back to their mansion with their fucking security and all this shit, while you don't, while you're broke begging them for more freedoms. That's why don't let them take anything. That's why the littlest thing to me is so big. The littlest detail. It always starts from a little thing and then turns into this thing, and then that turns into this thing, and it just keeps on fucking going. Everything into me is a violation. Everything. Everything is a violation of our Constitution. Any type of little fucking freedom you take, I don't care what it is. I don't care if you tell me jimping isn't allowed on a knife or a firearm, or felons can't have. I don't give a shit. Any of it. None of it. Like I said, I'm more libertarian than anything. So, fuck the government. Shape your constitution. Raise the future. Generation be humble. Yes, absolutely. Give them an inch to take a mile every time. Every time. Name one that hasn't. Nobody can. Nobody can. Nobody can tell me. Just like nobody can tell me about. It doesn't matter. I hate to take it there. I know I keep stopping, but I know where this will go, and I know how I get. So I'm trying to prevent myself from taking it from 0 to 100, as I'll go real quick, real fucking quick. Oh, hi Jared and everyone here. Been watching your stuff for a while now. Love your channel, especially your lives. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate all you guys hanging out. And I do hope you guys all enjoy the channel and enjoy the knife talk. I do offer a sharpening service to anybody who wants to use it. I usually put all my information in every video. You can find it down at the bottom of the description for my Instagram or my email. And I also got a hollow grind machine coming, so hopefully I'll be able to provide that soon. Not yet, but soon. I got a couple knives on the way that are going to be awesome. Hey, do you guys know the Spirit? Is that still available? Do you guys know if the Spirit is still available? The Wii, it's called the Spirit, right? The Wii Spirit. Anyone vacationing in Portland this summer with the kids? Marco's hilarious. Come for the knives, I stay for the politics. I wouldn't mind talking about it, but people I mean, I hate the things that become like this, but I don't mind talking about it. People hate listening to it, for one, except for the people that think like me, right? But the people that don't think like me, they don't want to hear that shit. And, I don't blame them. But YouTube doesn't like it either. So it can be controversial, to say the least. It's pronounced Whispery. Are you fucking with me, Knife Sergeant? Whispery. We spree. The we. I see what you're saying. The we whispery. I thought it was S-E-S. So esprit. Esprit. Okay, so is it still available? The Esprit. Is it still available? Do you guys know? I was thinking about getting the titanium version, possibly. I've heard a couple people got it and they said, man, it's the shit. I appreciate that. We don't hate anything. I really appreciate that. Thank you. A hollow grind machine. What? A wheel, 10-inch wheel. Yeah, not like I just throw it in there and it makes it for me. A grinding wheel. I thought it was gonna be here by now, but I'm gonna try. I'm not promising anything. I might suck. I bought it. It wasn't that much money on a practice. I'm gonna see how good I can do it. If I can't do anything consistent, then I'm not gonna stick with it. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see if I can do it at all. Right? I might even just keep it just to do my own shit. Like I'm not even gonna offer it to anybody because maybe I won't trust myself to do something. If I can't get something consistent 10 times in a row, I'm not gonna offer it to somebody else to do, right? So it's a 10-inch wheel. It's for doing hollow grinds. That's literally what I bought it. Like when I looked it up, that's what I looked it up for. And I could probably pull it up. I wonder if I could pull it up. It's just a 10-inch grinding wheel. And it's got I'm trying to think of everything that's got on. It's got like the guide thing. I think like to like put the blade in, to like lower it down onto the wheel and stuff. At least that's what it looked like it had with it. I can send you some pictures if you want. Bigfoot might be real or not. Probably not. You'd be surprised. It's still a GP Knives, the titanium version. I think I might have to do that. Too many people are telling me it's fucking awesome. Have a good night, class. Wish I'd get. Oh, somebody was wanting. Oh, I can't remember who it was. They got a Holt. They're selling. Oh man, they had a couple really sweet knives. I forget which ones they were now. I'm sorry, guys. Shit. Somebody had a Holt. They were trying to sell. I think it was a Holt haptic, I think, and something else. Damn it, I'm sorry. But if anybody's interested in getting a Holt knife, let me know. I'll look at my DMs and find out exactly what all they have. I try to help people out when they're trying to sell some of their knives. Said bench grinder Richie is a lucky man. Yes, he is. Can we still get on the 3.0? Are you talking about the the CKF knife? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, that's supposed to be the big one, right? The 3.0, the giant one. Like a Tormac, kind of like a Tormac, but it's not a Tormac, but yeah, kind of. Jared, are you doing sort? Yeah, I just did. What I did was I just filled Slicey's thing in with it. If you guys actually want a real story, I can come up with something. Let me see what time it is. How many people are in here? We have 88 watching. All right, we'll tell a little story. You guys pick one though, because I didn't write nothing down, and I had so many damn stories. I lived such a crazy life for so long that fucking I had stories for years. But name something we can talk about, and I'll think of something. Evo 3, yeah, the Evo 3.0 are the same size as the first version or close to it, bigger than the 2.0. Right, the 2.0 was like the one I did a review on, or the one I reviewed. The 3.0 is going to be like the original one, which is really fucking big. What was that? Biatches? Biatches. Biatches. I don't know if I should tell those stories. Let me look at some more. Defending your sister. Okay. I got plenty of those. Okay, so I had this friend, and he was my friend. And he was hanging out a lot. Me and him were hanging out, but he had like this is gonna be kind of quick though. Because it's not too long of a story, but I can tell a couple. Um he really liked my sister, and he was obviously around me all the time, and he obviously had a crush on my sister, and I just told him, like, hey, listen, my sister's his own person. I said, but if she don't like you, leave her fuck alone. Like, don't mess with my sister. And she had said that, and she kept like flirting with her and like saying things, and I let it go until she said something to me. And she said something to me, and she like called me into like a room. Like I had walked out of a room or something, and she said something. So then I walked back in, and I just told him to go outside. And he kind of already knew what time it was, but when he started walking outside, I just ran up to him and started fighting him. We had a fence, and there was, because we were in like a small house, and like we're outside the back door, there was like this fence, there was like a hole in the fence, and like I remember like rubbing his face on the fence and like shit like that, just fighting him. And I broke he had a pair of glasses on. I broke his glasses, and it really wasn't even that big of a deal, but yeah, I beat him up for fucking with my sister. Another one, I got a bunch with my sister. Actually, I got some with my cousin. I'll tell you one where I got beat up. So this dude that was hanging out, we lived in this like apartment project. There was 3 buildings, like 1, 2, and 3. And this one dude was hanging out around like with my cousin and stuff like that. And everybody knew him and everything. And he was cool, but he was a little like crazy, right? He just did like stupid shit, crazy shit. Well, he wound up robbing my cousin for like $100. And she was a female. Sorry. He robbed her in the hallway of the apartment building for like $100. So, I was obligated. He's a lot older than me, by the way. And so is she. So this is my older cousin, older than my sister. So a lot older. So this was a fight I was not going to win. Especially at the age, because I think at this age I was 13, 14 maybe. And but it didn't matter to me. So I found him in behind the buildings. And it had been a few days, because like I was like waiting for him, and he like disappeared for like a week or something like that. However many, a few days, whatever. Well, I wound up running into him at the side of the building, and I walked up to him, and he already knew what time it was too, right? He already knew what time it was. So we started boxing, and he fucking had like, his arms were like a foot longer than mine. There wasn't nothing I could do. And he wound up lighting me up really good. And yeah, I didn't have a standing chance at all. He was just way bigger, way longer, way older, way everything. I was just too young, to everything. And but he did wind up getting his though, because my cousin was affiliated with a lot of gangs, and he wound up getting like, so they got him. This was like a month later or something. They like convinced them that they forgot about it, not forgot, but forgave kind of, and got him in a van, and they drove to like another another hood not far down the street, and a bunch of vice lords fucking ripped him, like 8 vice lords ripped him out of the van and beat him so bad that he had the cleat marks on his back for like a month. His skull got fractured. He got fucked up. His dad wound up being like a Navy SEAL or some shit, and he came out in like the neighborhood with a golf club looking for the dudes, and it's like, you ain't gonna find them dudes, there's 10,000 of them, it's like you're looking for 8 of them. So but he went out with his golf club, like just fighting people. I think he, in his head, it was just like, whoever I get into a fight with, that's who did it. Like that type of mentality, like I don't care, like he's trying to protect his family, right? Meanwhile, his son is in ICU with a fractured skull. But that's another one. Another one. Well, that one dude, I told the story about the one. What's a vice lord? It's just a gang. Like there's GDs, there's vice lords. There's a bunch of different gangs. So just a gang. But another one. I told you guys a story about that dude that came out of my my door with that knife. If you guys remember that. If you guys don't, it doesn't matter. But it was the same dude. I got into like 3 fights with that same dude. But I got into a fight with him. Same thing. He liked my sister, and I got into a fight with him. That's really not even that long of a story, because like I said, I got into a few different fights with him. He already knew he was going to lose the fight. It was just out in the middle of a front yard. He was like hitting on her or something. I knew she didn't like him. I told him to stop, and it had like went on like 2 or 3 times, and then we got into a fight, and I beat him up in the front yard. So there really wasn't much to it. I mean, it was just kind of like, just a scrapping fight. Oh, I got a good one. So this one, I had gotten jumped. Like, we'll finish on this one. So the guy you judo toss off the porch. Yeah, exactly. The same dude. But this story, I ran into these guys twice. So like a year before, I got jumped by these dudes, and I got thrown in a frozen pond. So I got into a fight with these 3 dudes older than me. They're like three or 4 years older than me. Got into a fight with them. All 3 of them got my ass kicked. I got thrown into a frozen pond. And then a year later, my sisters, they're my one sister's older than me. At the time, I had a foster sister, and my foster sister, same age as my biological sister, and we were at the house, I wasn't at the house yet. I walked into the house, and they were at the house, and dude was in my fucking living room, and so I snapped. I grabbed a knife, and I went right after him. My sisters are freaking out, screaming like all crazy, and trying to stop me getting in the way. And he had his 2 buddies. One of them, or only one of them that was there, right? Like only one of them from the jumping was there. The other 2 dudes that were there weren't the same dudes from when I got jumped. Anyways, but it didn't matter. They were in my fucking house. So they're freaking out. And then, I knew like the best thing to do was to call my dad. And it's not like that I'm a snitch or a rat or anything, but this got personal because I want to fuck these dudes up. And so I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm going to do one worse. I'm calling dad. I called my dad. My dad came fucking flying up. He had this big ass pickup truck. He had a trailer on the back, fucking comes. He ain't far away. So, and I know, like, if I'm in trouble, right, the old man's coming, right, and he's coming hard. So he comes flying around the corner, trailer sliding. He stops, but the trailer hits a fucking tree when he stops. He jumps out. These dudes see my dad coming, and they're so scared. They're terrified. One runs out the back door, jumps a fence. He's fucking gone. Like these dudes just split off like crazy. And yeah, it was hilarious. My dad never got his hands on them because they were so fast. Once they seen his crazy ass pulling up the way he did, like they weren't fucking with him. And but then I wound up it wasn't that long later, dude came back and tried to talk to me at my door. My mom answered the door and I seen who it was, and I grabbed the same fucking knife again. And I opened the door and I went after him again. And he was like, backing up, like, whoa, I'm just trying to talk to you. I'm just trying to talk to you, And like he tried talking to me and all this shit, like saying sorry, and he didn't know, like, who I was and blah, blah, blah. And he gave me props and, you got a lot of heart and all this bullshit. I wasn't hearing it though. And my mom was there and everything. So I kind of left it alone. But so I didn't stab him or nothing, but I'd want him going back in the house after talking a bunch of shit to him. But no, but that was kind of funny though, just because of my own man though. The dad to turn. Yeah, exactly. The dad to turn. Yeah, he was pretty scary too. So when he pulled up, like, yeah, I already knew what time it was. And like the couple times I made that call to him, like in that type of situation, yeah, he made it so fast. And any other time though, I could call him with a broken leg and that motherfucker would take hours. But if it was something to do with like a fight or something like that, yeah, he was there quick, fast. It's just like that fatherly protection thing, like you're not going to let your son down or your family down. No, I know someone that does and could accept PayPal for me. Yeah, that's the way it was for me always. And I got into lots of like little beefs, like just like literally little tiny beefs, like out in the front yard, right? Dudes walking by, hollering at my sister. So then I'm talking shit, right? It's my sister. And next thing you know, I'm in the street fighting somebody I ain't never seen not once and they'll never see again, possibly. Some of them I did wind up seeing again, but yeah, like there was always, and like, or like going to like fairs and things, you go to fairs, there's all kinds of kids, when you're with your sister or whatever, you're going to be protective, and she's older than me, so she was always around older people. So I just always felt like I was fighting older kids when I was growing up. You need to start talking more about knives and your issues. Yeah, bro, it's past that time. At 9 o'clock we do story time. We do an hour and a half of knife talk. And then we do story time. We usually don't go this late with story time. We usually end at 9:30. So we usually do 2 hours, an hour and a half of knife talk and a half hour of whatever talk. But now you know. Yeah, for sure. And I know a lot of these stories ain't for everybody. That's why, I save them for the end. I know some people could care less. And, and I know a lot of my stories, like I try to keep them as PG as possible because I know how crazy they can get. Trust me, I know a lot of people ain't used to some of this shit. Just like some of the stories I could tell, I know a lot of people ain't used to. It's not normal. And I know that. So I don't expect people to find it appealing or want to hear, but some people I think do. Some people think it's just funny and I get to laugh with them and tell stories, and I enjoy it. But I know for some people it's not going to be for them, and I get it completely. My F5.5 just got here yesterday. I'm obsessed with it. Awesome. Hell yeah. That's awesome. That's a badass knife. I bought I don't know if you were here the other day when the Ace Grand I bought. I had the choice between the 5.5 and the Ace Grand, and I picked the Ace Grand. It was a little cheaper, and I had tried the 5.5 and I did it or a review on it or whatever. I haven't tried the Ace Grand. So I was like, fuck it. Let me take that. Story time is cool and makes your channel unique. Thank you, Pioneer. Thank you. Dude, why do some Para 3 come so tight? They're on phosphor bronze, so sometimes some of them just take a break-in period, but sometimes you want that. So like the pivot is just tight. So as you continue to use it, it'll start expanding and loosening up, and it'll break into a point that is very smooth yet still tight. And that's what you want. You want it to kind of break into that smoothness, because then literally the tolerances will be perfect for it to be smooth and tight at the same time. So just keep messing with it. It'll break in. No, I think it was $100 or no, 100. I think it was like $25, $30. I forget. It was over 200. I think it was like $200 for, I think, or no, was it? I don't remember. I just know the main reason why I wanted the Grand was, one, I've always wanted to try it. I've already tried the 5.5. That's the main reason. And the Ace Grand has always been appealing to me. And it's literally the version I love the most. So that's really why. It's always been appealing to me. I've always wanted like kind of like the larger Ace Biblio, and that's kind of the way it is. I know the blade shape's a little different, but it's basically like a large Biblio. No, but he did 28 years from. I don't know what that's for. The 5.5 was 200. Okay, so it was $25 cheaper. Yeah, which I would have got the 5.5 if I probably hadn't tried either one. I probably would have got the 5.5 only because it's newer. But since I've tried it, I wanted to, and like I said, that Grand is my style. I've always, since the first time I seen that, I've been attracted to it. Like when I see it, it literally draws my eyes. I want to try it. And I figured, for 175, help the guy out. Works out. The Grand is bigger and less expensive. Feels like a better value. Right. And I that's what I liked about it too, is that it's bigger. It's a full-size knife. I like that. I'm not saying I always want a big knife and a full-size knife, but in that circumstance, I already had the Ace Biblio, 2 of them. I've already tried the 5.5. The Ace Grand. Bang. Is a great hold on. The Metal Lark is a great knife for the money they used to go for. I don't know what the Metal Lark is. Dude, Bearded Gear's new knife looks dope. Yeah, I agree. Obviously I haven't tried it or nothing, but yeah, I think it looks dope. I'm happy to hear that he got that done. I think that's amazing. I hope sales go great for him. Do you guys, maybe you guys know, because I didn't find out, but what's the price tag? Do you guys know what the price tag is? Because if the price is right, I'll pick one. I want to pick one up. I think it looks cool. It kind of reminds me of the Koenig Arius. 300? It's 300? No, is it? 299? That's steep. Huh. We'll see. I might get it. I haven't tried it. Maybe it's tits, right? I haven't tried it, so I hate to jump to conclusions, but I don't know if it looks like $300. But I guess look at the Ace, or The F5.5, that's 200. The Ace Biblios, 200. I don't know. Man, that just seems like that seems a little steep to me. I understand it's Riet, but so is some of the giant mouse knives. They were built by Riet, some of them. And Riet's China, giant mouse, fucking Italy. I'm not saying Riet is top notch. I know it's hard to get a knife from them under $300. I get it. But what I'm looking at is you can get a full titanium knife for $300 from Riet. That is what micarta. Is it titanium liners? It's titanium liners and M390, right? I think that's what it is. I don't like the rounded finger guard situation. I thought it looked pretty cool. The Ergos look okay. I don't know. It's hard to say, through a picture. I like to try things. I struggle over justifying an $80 knife purchase. Hot damn, 300. Maybe the coded version at that price, but I would have thought under for the satin. Yeah, M390. But is the liners are titanium though, right? They're not steel, they're titanium. They gotta be titanium for that price. I want a damn full size SBD Evo. Sharp by Designs Evo. Guy on Reddit has a DLC version and wants 585 smackaroos. It's a great knife, though. I'll give it that. It's a sweet knife, man. It really is. Yes, titanium liners. Well, I mean, it is Riet. It's Riet. Titanium liners, M390, micarta. Got to pay the designer. Got to pay the company. I get it. And it's the first run, right? I doubt he's making much on that. Riet costs a lot to get their build quality and everything. I'm thinking of other Riet knives, right? That are around $300. Some of them are maybe a little bit more, like $350 or $325. Some are $300. And I'm just thinking about what you get, but maybe it's because those designers are from China. So maybe the price thing, there could be so many variables that I'm unaware of. So I don't want to, speak off, right? I personally would have been happier with some end cut carbon fiber scales instead of micarta. That would have been sweet. Some end cut carbon fiber. I would have liked that too. Or some end cut micarta. But he loves his micarta. Bearded Gear loves his micarta, and I do too. Neevesknives, I like to shout out Alien Knives. I just got a knife from them, and it's awesome. And guess what, guys? I got Alien Knives new prototype on the way. Me and him did a Zoom call the other day, and I got one on the way. Oh, another thing. While you guys are in here, I just did an interview last night with a new knife company. I don't want to tell you guys the name yet because I don't want you guys going and looking them up. But in about 3 weeks, I'll have 4 models from a brand new company. They have 8 models out altogether, but they're brand new. They're trying to get into, they're building their website. Their website will be done. I think it's already done, actually. The website's done. They're trying to get into Blade HQ, but remember, they just started. So they have 8 models. I know it sounds like they've been around since they have 8 models, but they literally made 8 models right off the bat. So I'm getting 4 of their models, and we're going to check it out and see how they are. So that'll be awesome. Like I said, I just did an interview with them last night on a Zoom call, and it looks pretty cool. Damn it, Sergeant. Somebody delete Sergeant's comment. Yes, it's shielding. Yes, it is. So they hit me up last week. They hit old Knife Sergeant up before me, huh? I don't want to check them out no more. I don't want nothing to do with those guys. They suck. That's awesome, man. No, that is cool. Yeah, no, I talked to Steven on a Zoom call and it went pretty good. I'm interested because it's a new company, you know. I like checking out new knife companies, you know. So, you know what? I'll be honest. Why would I not be honest? I really wish, and I know lots of people say like, "Oh, it's not a Chinese company," you know, whatever. Well, fucking, I wish some American companies would contact me. All right, when American companies start contacting me saying, "Hey, man, we'd like to send you some products. Do you want to do a Zoom call?" Guess how fast I'm doing a Zoom call. But I don't get that, and it's, you know, I have yet to have had a USA company besides TRM. TRM. Shout out to TRM. Awesome company, by the way. That's why I love them so much. They were awesome, but not because of Neevesknives. They were awesome because of Lavender Pants. Lavender Pants was friends with them and talked to them about us, and they donated a knife to a giveaway. That was amazing. No, it's D2. It's not they were doing like 3CR and stuff. All their stuff now is D2. But yeah, oh, you're talking about that one company that contacted me, the 5CR or 3CR or whatever. I actually get excited when LTK gets new knives from a brand I've never heard of, even if they're junk. I know, that's what I mean. I don't give a shit if it's junk. I want to check it out. Can you please change the background on your thumbnail? I'm sure we get more views. On this thumbnail, let's check it out. I want to see. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, let's do that. Here. Let's let me get rid of the chat so people can't see your guys' comments. We'll just do a banner and we'll go like this. Oh, hold on a second. You guys got to stay here because we're doing a thumbnail. Let's do a thumbnail. I gotta center it. Sorry, guys. Come on, hold that schmitty. All right, let's change the thumbnail right now. Oh, shit. Thank you, by the way, because yeah, I don't want a thumbnail that's not going to get any views. Got to get them views. Yeah, definitely got to change that thumbnail. That was bad. Oh, that looks like I'm flipping it off. How's that? Check that one out. Tell me how that one looks. All right, guys. I know I've had you guys in here for hours at this point, and I could stay here all night and kick it with you guys. Literally, because I love this shit to death. I really do. I could literally just sit here and hang out all night long. I'm curious how many people are still in here. Let's look. 74 people still in here. You guys are out of your mind. You guys are out of your damn minds. Thank you guys for hanging out with me all night. Did you touch on the slicey dicey? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It was a little bit before 9 o'clock when I started. I think we ended after 9. Or maybe it was at 9. Was it at 9? Yeah, it was at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock. Must sleep sometime. Yeah, sometime. Doesn't have to be tonight, though. We can make it a 24-hour. One of these days, we'll do a 24-hour live. Yeah, right. Oh, thank you. He did Drew about an hour and a half ago. You guys are crazy. All right, guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys need sharpening, links are in the bottom of the description of most of my videos. There isn't a description in this video yet, but there will be one very soon. Thank you guys for all the donations. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you to all the Patreons. Thank you to all the moderators. The moderators definitely help run this live. I couldn't do it without them. I don't know what I did before them, but you guys are amazing. Peace.